Okay. Why don't we start? I'll call this meeting of the Manhan Rail Trail Committee to order. It's August 2nd and it's 6:30-ish. We'll start with the approval of the minutes from the June 21st meeting, and I sent that with the agenda. Does anybody have any corrections or comments? All right, if not, do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the June 21st meeting?
I move we accept the minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Yep. John, you're muted in case you want to talk. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Well, since we have Jeff and we have Greg here, we probably should just dive right into the main meat of the meeting rather than going over the maintenance stuff, even though some of that might affect Greg. But I think we just wanted to kind of have a little chat about going forward. And I don't know, Wendy, if you have any thoughts as to how we should attack this, or whether we should just kind of have just an open discussion.
I think an open discussion is a good place to start. I mean, it was clearly stated in the recent update of the master plan for open space and recreation that one of the goals was to move towards the city helping out or eventually taking over the maintenance of the rail trail. I think we suggested a 5-year time frame. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I think it's become more difficult for us to get enough volunteers to do the work that needs to be done. The trail is aging now. It needs some work, and it takes muscles and money and time, and we're just having trouble. I think looking down the road, we'll have trouble getting enough people to do that. So my suggestion is we ask the city if they could possibly assist and eventually take over. And that doesn't mean that the committee and the Friends would cease to assist. You know, we would still, I would think, make an effort to raise funds for odds and ends of projects that enhance the trail and help. But for the everyday maintenance, I think it's time that we really bite the bullet here and face reality that we're not going to be able to keep doing this. The trail is expanding and we're shrinking. So something's going to have to give at some point.
Yeah, that's a good overview, I think. I mean, I guess I think that as long as we can contract out some of the work, like the trail side mowing and the trimming and the trash, we can do that as long as we can find contractors that we can hire and we have money to pay. Greg in the DPW, you guys have been a really big help, but I think going forward, I think between the DPW and the park and whatever other departments, I think it might work good to have a shared responsibility. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, one thing that, and Jeff and John Mason and I spoke a little earlier today, but neither the DPW nor the Parks Department can take it on with our existing staff and equipment. Like and I've had this conversation with the mayor. I'm happy to take it and maintain it, but I need personnel and equipment to devote just to maintaining the rail trail. So it's something the city needs to look at, I think, as like a budget line item for coming years, and maybe we build it into the city budget for FY23, where we have staff that is dedicated to maintaining the rail trail. Whether they're year-round staff that take on some other duties in the winter, or there's aspects of trail maintenance we work on in the winter. It's all kind of conversations we need to have. But I'm all for taking it in DPW. I just need the resources to do it, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
I had a little conversation with John as well, and he has this idea of having a person who's not only dedicated to the bike path in the summer, but is working on some of the other park properties that we've been adding, and that there's really no plan for maintenance on, and it would be a seasonal, how many weeks is it? 39-week position or something like that. But it would be a person who wouldn't work in the park department and then just go help out on the bike path, a couple days a week. That would be their job, to be out on the bike path and probably the Mount Tom Park and, all these parks that are coming on board. That's what the person would be. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And this is Jeff. So I'll just chime in real quick. I mean, I think whether it's a seasonal position or a full-time position, I think those are the kinds of things that we probably need to talk about. And because, there's some value in having just a seasonal person, but at the same time, as we grow, there could be value in having that person just be full-time and do different things throughout the year. So I think those are conversations that we haven't had as any kind of group that I'm aware of. So that would be a really good thing. And I think what Greg talked about and maybe what John talked about was looking at FY23 for the first year where we try to do something, because it's not that far out because we're in FY22 right now. So our budgets as groups, our budgets start getting formed in January for FY23. So it's actually very quick, that we would talk about FY23 for something to happen. But the planning department, I'm in the unique position of we are talking about expanding things too. So I think John in particular and Greg are always, and I think this group has always talked about reminding us that we need to maintain what we have too. So it's this balancing between we do need to maintain what we have, but we need to grow as well. So, the position being full-time, if we're talking about getting access to the new school, as expanding the bike path, and, that to me, that warrants a full-time position discussion. And Greg's talked about needing equipment. So we just need to look at it kind of holistically.
And discuss what maintenance is going to be done on the trail, whether it's going to be plowed, just different specifics of what expectations would be.
Right. I don't think we would expect this person. I mean, we don't have the equipment right now to take over the trail side mowing. I mean, that might be something down the road when Better Pathways doesn't want to do it anymore. But we don't have a mower for that. So I think as long as we can keep some good contractors, that would, we could do those things with contracted help, and have the person do other things. I mean, I would love to have somebody when Peter was able to, I could just call him and he could fix fences. He could do, take care of graffiti. He could deal with this stuff, but I don't really have anybody to call. And I hate to bother John all the time, And I do think that Greg, I mean, we would still, of course, need your department with the brush cutting and
side on mower, things like that. Some of the larger problems.
The larger things, cleaning, keeping the culverts cleaned and all that kind of stuff. But
and it's not only the day-to-day maintenance, but looking at, I don't know if you'd call it a capital improvement, but there are sections of the trail that are in rough shape, and we've addressed some of that, but I think going forward, some of those routes are really going to present a tripping hazard, and then you get into liability issues, and so I think looking ahead at maintaining the structure of the bike path itself. Personally, I think it's added so much value to the town or the city that I agree. I agree with that. You have to maintain it, but I think we're talking about more than trimming branches and mowing. I think we need to also look at the trail itself, the trail bed, and the pavement too.
And actually, one thing while you were talking, I realized this. One of the things that the city has done recently for us that's been good is to give us, I guess, a few $1,000s every year. But in a way now, that is almost acting against the city doing more. We should think about, not that we want to give away money, but maybe that should be in the budget for the city to do the things we're asking them to do.
Well, how that money works, Steve, is just so you know, is that we as the Friends, we spend the money. We only get $2,500 a year, and we're up to almost 1,000 already since the beginning of July. So when I hit $2,500, I put in a voucher to the park department, and they reimburse the Friends, and then we just keep spending it. So
actually, it sounds like if we're still going to be contracting things ourselves, then it sounds like we're going to need that money from that end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a source of income.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what our main sources of income are is dues, and we probably get close to $4,000 from dues. We get $3,000 a year from the 3 mill owners, which the last one just paid today, so that's good. And then we get the $2,500 from, back from the park department. So those are kind of our main sources of income. We do have a donation account through the city, but I actually reimbursed the Friends for that $5,200 that we just paid for the paving. So I took that out and I reimbursed the Friends back for that project.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing for the group to think about is, and I would build on what Greg said, which is that there needs to be some discussions at department levels and probably with the mayor to make sure that this moves forward, together. But one thing to think about, and just my experience so far with budget hearings, is for this group to be putting together the list of things that you have done and the things that you think you understand need to be done. And because I think there's going to need to be a written kind of request. I think documenting some of this stuff will be really important, because I've seen myself a couple budget requests. When you get into the meetings, they want to understand what's the need, why is this happening, why is the money necessary. And I think what John and Greg are saying is personnel is one of the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. And then there's the equipment, and then it's kind of what Wendy was saying is then it's the bigger or the continuous maintenance items too. So I just think leading up to January, February in the winter, coming out of the winter, that's when budget season really starts. And having city councilors who will support the idea, that goes a long way.
So we should probably start by just making a list of everything we do and how things are right now, and what the costs of those things are. Do you think that's good? Just a whole breakdown of what the income is that we get, what the expenses are. And
well, you have your budget, you present that every year, your financial report that spells everything out pretty clearly, Barb. You could just
I have that. I have it pretty much all set anyway.
Yeah. But so Jeff, would you suggest just who should initiate the discussions? I'm looking for somebody to take the lead on this. And who do you suggest?
It's a good question, and Wendy, I don't know, and Greg is still, I see him, he's not muted right now, but Greg, I think thinking about that, I don't know what the best answer is. Greg, if you Greg and John and I just happened to see all three of us together in one room today, but that might be a place to start to make sure that some department, will really carry it forward. Greg, so I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, my thought would be that Jeff, you and I and John and the mayor need to get together and get her ideas of how she wants to build it into how, her preference for building it into the budget for FY23.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's, Wendy, I think that's kind of one of the first steps. I think if you guys just look at your list and make sure you feel like it has everything, I think that will be important to be doing. I agree, Wendy, that the open space plan calls this out. So in some ways that's the easy part. And then the money part, the funding part is harder. And I think it's just been harder to talk about funding and positions and things, but I think most people would agree that now or looking ahead is the right time to start to fund it kind of properly. So I don't think there's anyone who would complain about that. It's just making sure that I look at Greg and I look at DPW and Parks as being the really key departments, whereas the planning department would promote and try to help, but I don't really have the line items in my budget. I don't have any line items in my budget except for people. So I think Greg or Parks, one of the two, would be the ones who can do maintenance concept and run those numbers and put stuff together.
Yep. One thing, we do have a position that's been formulated under the senior tax work-off program. I don't know if they've gotten anybody that is, a good fit for that, because it is a kind of tricky position. So.
That came up today, Barbara.
I don't know what's
Do you
gonna
guys
happen
have
with that.
equipment? Does the rail trail own equipment?
We do.
And
We do.
Where do you
Yep.
keep it?
In the shed by the path. I mean, we have a tractor, we have a leaf blower, we have weed whackers, we have, a bunch of stuff. Yep. But that's where we store. We have a couple. We have what do we have, John? A mower that works.
Well, we have a
then
hand mower, push mower. When we have a small tractor, which normally doesn't do the mowing, it just pulls the leaf blower behind it. We have a hand blower, leaf blower, and we have a walk behind leaf blower and a weed whacker.
Okay.
That's basically what we have, except for small hand tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But eventually, regarding leaf blowing, we're going to have to get something more efficient than what we're using now. It takes me 6 hours to do the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of those mowers in the shed, I think really needs to go, because isn't it just a parts mower?
Yeah.
Is that
There's a
still there?
couple hand mowers. One works and one just for parts. Yeah.
Yeah. So that shed is really handy because it's right there on the path, and it's it's good sized. So in the future that certainly can still be used for anything trail wise.
I mean, I would take Greg's lead on it, and I mean, there's so much going on all at once right now. So I would say probably not your September meeting, but like maybe your October meeting, just to give a little bit of time to kind of see if we can flesh out, see if Greg and John and I and maybe the mayor can get a time to meet, to just flesh out even some initial ideas. Greg, does that make some sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And then a comprehensive list of things that need to be done on the trail. Like I have a general idea, but there's probably things that happen to maintain it that I'm not aware of.
Yep.
Or just like a
Yeah.
Yep. I can work on that, and I can send it out to the committee to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah. We should come up with a list first before we start talking. Yeah.
Yep. And I think if we can get that list, then John and I and Mayor and Jeff can keep our heads together and come up with the best way to move it forward, to take care of things going forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that person though would be doing more than just the bike path, because sometimes of the year, I think that person would be able to do other things too.
There is no shortage of work out there, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, I'm wondering if one will be enough to do more than just the bike path, but larger. But you got to start somewhere.
I mean, I almost see two to three with plenty of equipment. It's a big capital expense.
I mean, it could be in the summertime that the senior tax work-off person, if we had somebody, could supplement that person.
And before, I know Greg maybe is at a soccer game. Before he goes, I want to.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. But I wanted to, because I don't know if you're going to move on to your agenda. I wanted to thank Greg because Greg has been really responsive on stuff, and Greg and his team went out and mowed. There was a couple sections near the new roundabout, that it just wasn't. We're still in construction. Like that project's not done, so it kind of looks like things were getting missed, but we're still pulling together the million things that are on the punch list. But there was a couple sections that were just getting missed, and Greg got his team out there right along the roundabout. So that's awesome. And then we are talking about the embankment. So next to the new railing and the pond, Greg had his team go out and cut some out by hand. But we're looking at trying to figure out, we need to get some Conservation Commission approvals on a plan to kind of cut down those are all invasives on the embankment. So we are working on that stuff, but I did get, Barbara has kind of flagged a lot of those questions for us. But I just wanted to thank Greg because he's been really responsive on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Jeff, I was just not real happy to see that fence go there because, we're taking out fence and it just, the more fence, it's just going to be more maintenance to make it look nice. And I mean, I guess safety wise, there must be a reason for it. But I saw that go up and I was just like, you got to be kidding.
We are working on it. Jeff's been all over, doing the research. And I mean, one thing to remember that whole project just has not been turned over to the city yet. It's still really Gomes Construction's responsibility. So there's only so much we can do to address it, but we're talking about the fence and working on a way to make it better. So.
Yeah, I'm just looking at down the road. And I did wonder, Pasqualina came here to talk about some art along there. And there's that one pad that looks like it's going to be a bench. Is that where the art's going to go?
Yeah.
Or it seemed like the fence was kind of right where they were going to put that art.
Right before this meeting, I was on the ECA meeting started at 5. And so I jumped off that one to come on this one. And yeah, there was a little bit of miscommunication with the fence because one section in particular, the art pad goes in between the bike path and the entrance to Millside Park. So it's kind of a small pad, but that's where the art will go. And then on the other side of the path, kind of on the uphill side, is where we're going to put a bench and there'll be a map. And so the idea is you can sit at the bench and look at the public art. The fences went up. So we are, we are going between multiple parties here, which is that the project engineer wants those, basically wants to create a channel that alerts bicyclists that you're coming up to an intersection. That's the purpose of the fence. But he was agreeable to letting us take down more than half on the Millside Park side to kind of open back up that public art installation, which will happen in the fall. But I think what Greg was saying is we're talking about it, and it's not clear yet that if it's required. The engineer for the project thinks it's required for safety purposes to bring people up to the road. So there will probably be fence there, but they were agreeable to letting us remove quite a few sections for the art display. But
I drove through it today and there was somebody right there, like ready to cross. And I found actually that the fence almost made it almost blocked the view of the person on the bike.
Yeah, we're looking at that. That's at least the second time that I've heard that. So maybe the couple sections that are close to the road they might be too close. So those are the kinds of things that we're trying to hear what people are saying right now and just see if there's any other changes we can do.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Can I ask one other unrelated question? It's not about the circle, but I did ride the path down to Ferry Street today, and I noticed that sinkhole. There's a sinkhole down behind the mills, a small one. I don't know, yay big, and it is. There's a white paint around it, but I thought that was going to be maybe filled when they did the patching. But is that something that's going to be? I'm just worried that it's going to expand.
Yeah, I'll have to get back out there and take a look at it. There was, I got to just see exactly which one. There is still an actual hole there. They didn't do anything with it at all.
I didn't see anything. No, it's
okay.
There's a hole.
Okay, I'll get out there tomorrow and figure out how the sewer department left it. I know it was on their list. We just been tied up with a bigger job over on Wilmell.
Sure. Okay.
But,
Wendy, was that the only little sinkhole, or was there one closer to community feed?
There was another one that I had sent a picture of to you, and I thought that was farther up. And I honestly didn't pay attention to that one, but I can go back out maybe later and take a look later this week.
Okay. Yeah, Greg, don't go because there's a few little things.
Well, that's fine. I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. But Jeff, if you have other things to do, don't feel like you have to stay any longer than you want to.
I'll stay for a little bit longer. I'll hear what's going on. I will have to jump off at like 7:30 though.
Okay. Peter, welcome.
Howdy.
Hi, Peter.
Peter, I got your email today. Let's kind of transition into the trail thing because there's a few things I want to ask Greg about. Peter, can you explain a little bit more where Tim might have been talking about in terms of those fence posts that are in the way of the mowing?
Okay, I too went out there today to verify
nice.
that. And what he was talking about was, you know, where the fork goes down to Lovefield Street when you're heading to Northampton? The paved down to by the,
Which direction?
when you're heading north,
Towards Route 5 or Northampton?
Northampton.
Okay.
Okay, then you've got the paved fork that we had before the bridge got put in that goes down to
Yep.
Down, yeah, it goes down to the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim was claiming that he had hit a post or something of the 4x4s left because that got removed along the left side as you're heading north. Okay, so it would be on the Lovefield Street side.
Okay.
So I went there today and I walked my bike along the edge, parked it, and I just went in and was brush beating along that edge. I could not find a stub of a 4x4 anywhere. So, but what I did find, and I think Tim never got off the machine to see this, was when the DPW brush cut or somebody cut along there, they left about a 3 or 4 inch high stubs of some heavy growth, small trees or whatever were like right on that fence line. So I think Tim had hit those and assumed it was fence posts because I could not find any remnants at all other than a broken piece of 4x4 fence that he would have never hit with the mower. So I think that's what he ran into, was a couple of stubs, and they were right in that section that he claimed they were there, but nothing. You know, so you're all set with that, I think.
That sounds very possible. Our mower we use out there will really only get to about 4 to 5 inches from the ground. So
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, the sumac there, I mean, is starting to grow over anyway. I don't know if you've done, Greg, any other trail trimming lately, but and I'm sure there's sections.
Yeah, they did hit that section, I think, 2 times already this year. But along
all the rain.
Yeah,
It's
along
all the rain.
Yeah, all along the Lovefield Street Bridge, right on the edge. We need to have a little work party because there's stuff growing up right on the bridge itself, right by the fence line. I can see it when I'm driving by. But Greg, have you guys gotten the Coleman Road end of the trail at all with, cutting back the brush or not? Not yet.
we haven't been down there. No,
Okay.
we can. The gentleman who runs that machine for us was on vacation like last week, but we can
Okay.
get if you need us to.
Do you think they've kind of hit the rest of the trail? Is that just the section that's left, or have they done behind the community feed area?
Yes, I know he went through there once already, but that was a few weeks ago. So with all this rain, it may need to be done again. But
Yeah. So John, is that what you were talking about? That it kind of, and Wendy, you probably know too, right? That it needs some work down there, Coleman Road.
I mostly was concerned about the Coleman Road entrance all the way down to South Street.
Yeah. Okay.
Heavy in places. I
Okay.
didn't work down there, but
Yeah, there's some thorns and stuff.
Yeah. It's
all right, we can get in there. I can make sure that gets close to the top of the list.
Okay. Yeah, this year's been crazy for that. This stuff is just growing like.
Oh, it's the rain. It's everywhere. I mean, with visibility issues at intersections on the roads, even just because everybody's bush, everything is just growing like crazy. So that sidewalks blocked. I mean, we're getting it all over town.
Right. Steve, what were you saying about, the new intersection there at Lovefield and Ferry Street, that we used to have signs there?
Yeah, no, we didn't used to have signs. So you know how we put street signs on all of the back of all of our stop signs, right? So that people, when they're riding, can see what street they're seeing. But we didn't do that at the Ferry Street crossing because there is the fence, the sign from the city saying, it's these two streets. So we felt we didn't need a sign there. But someone knocked that post over like about a year ago. So that sign's been missing. The city sign's been missing as well. Since we don't have signs, no one knows what road they're crossing when they cross there. So I'd like to first ask the city to fix the sign. And secondly, we should put up signs at that stop sign anyways, just in case this ever happens again.
So that's the sign the trail crosses Ferry Street, right?
Yep.
And what sign, Steve, were you, so there's a stop sign there now, right? That got put up. That you said a sign was there and got taken down and never put back. Do you know?
No, the actual street sign, like the
Ferry Street sign?
Yeah. There's no street sign there anymore.
So is there no street sign at all for anybody turning down like cars? Is there going to be one there, Jeff?
We'll have to take a look. The plans, I'm sure the plans call for one. It may have been taken out, either in construction or.
It was during the winter. Someone smacked into it. And I thought we reported it, but I don't know.
Wait, was it Ferry or where Lovefield and O'Neill split off?
No, it's the one right by the bridge. No, our bridge that crosses the Manhan.
Oh.
Wait, I thought you said the trail crossing Ferry Street.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were too.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm further down.
You're just past the pump station as you're going north.
Yes, right.
Oh, you mean right by the big wall? Yeah, it got hit by something.
Yeah.
So we need a Lovefield O'Neill sign up there.
Bingo. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize.
Okay.
I'm terrible with directions, so
It's all right. I can look into that too. I'm sure we can get one made if one's missing. It might have just fallen off the list somehow.
But for the committee, I would like to also ask that we put a street sign or on our stop signs there. That's the only intersection we don't have them. And
well, if they're going to put one right on the other side of the street, why would we need one on both sides of the street?
just so that, look, all right, because I thought about this, Barb. On every single intersection we have right now, people look up and exactly in the same place all the time, they know what street they're crossing. When they come to this road, even when that street sign is up, they have to first look and see our sign is now missing, and then they got to look around to find the street sign. So I would just like to put our signs and keep it consistent. It's a small thing. I think we should do it.
Okay, so we need them on Ferry Street now too, the Ferry Street crossing, because those are all new signs there.
Okay. Oh, all right. I didn't even realize they were gone. Okay. Yeah. We do need them on ferries.
Is that a sign that you guys make? That's not a city street sign, right? That's just something you guys make?
If you look on any of the stop signs on the other side, it's the same bolt connecting the top of the stop sign to our street sign. It's, facing the bicyclist. It just tells them, hey, you're crossing, Arthur Street or whatever.
Yeah, so, Greg, you gave the name of somebody who could help with some signs like that, I think.
Yep, porcupine sign.
Yeah, and that's something that, we could certainly pay for it. They were pretty
He's actually right there in the mills too, so it's great to keep the business.
Yeah. Anything else that we need to ask Greg about?
Yeah,
mowing, the signs.
Speaking of signs, there's still, like, as you're going toward Ferry Street from Route 5, there's still some of the old construction signs, like saying that it's going down to one lane.
Yes.
So things like that should probably be removed.
Yep, those are ours. I've talked to the guys about getting those out of there. I can mention it again.
Did we get was the graffiti cleaned off the back of that one sign, Greg? I think we had looked at it.
Yeah, I straightened it out and the graffiti wiped right off of it.
Okay. We have a sign a little further heading towards Northampton that was a plastic sign. It was yellow. It's totally faded. That needs to be
I took
removed.
that down.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Oh,
took it down a while.
okay, good. Good, good, good. All right, great. I had an email.
Wendy, you're muted.
I mean, sorry. Greg, do you know, are they repaving Wamelco Way where it connects to the little, there's a little piece that comes off the trail?
Yeah, I don't think my crew ripped out any blacktop there. It was all just stoned. But we are talking about how we're going to restore that and see what we got to there's quite a project going on in that last building there, the old Zonalate plant at the end of Wamelco. So we want to see their finished product and then figure out the best way to kind of restore that access point there.
Okay. It looked like it was graded, and I didn't know whether it was the city or private. I don't know. They were working on it today. The road was closed. So
yeah, we're working on we have to put a sewer line in there coming up.
Oh, okay.
Main Street.
Jeff, is that still a cannabis place down there?
Yeah, and I thought, Greg, I thought that the developer, at least the prior plan, the developer was agreeing to pave that section, that connector to the bike path, but then it changed owners, and I lost track of whether the developer of that project was going to pave that or whether that'd be something you guys would try to make the connection. Is the whole street getting repaved?
No, not the whole street. We're
Okay.
just it's kind of a long story for this meeting. We needed to put a sewer main in there for various reasons to take some flow off Main. We're trying to get it in. We're almost done. We want to get in and get out of there so that they can do their final landscaping and such at that last building. But we were only working in the grass and it was stoned. So the problem is a lot of the material that came out of it was very wet and it was clay and it couldn't go back in. So we needed conditions to dry up a little bit from what we excavated so that we can get our part graded properly. But we want to do that once their landscape grade is finished to just make everything look the way it should. We got to get a riser on the new fire hydrant we put in there. And there's just a lot of finishing touches we have to do once the developer does a little bit more. But prior knowledge of what their agreement was.
Do you have any idea what the schedule is for the Easthampton Animal Hospital project?
I don't. That was moving right along and then it kind of slowed down. That happens with a lot of projects.
Yeah. Because is that going to come out onto Wamelco Way? Or is that, no, they're going to come right off of Main
I think it
Street
still comes off of Main Street.
Oh, okay.
The back of my,
All right. Anybody else?
in the back of my mind, I was hoping that facility will generate some cannabis impact fees so we can use some of that to address the road in the next couple of years. But that kind of remains to be seen.
Barb, is that couple that appeared at our meeting months ago?
Well, they're someplace else. Are they in the Cernak building, Jeff?
Are you talking about cannabis or the animal hospital?
The cannabis.
Oh, you got a presentation from someone? I think I missed it.
I think that was the CASM. Weren't they originally going to be in Wamelco Way and then they ended up at Cernak?
They did move, yes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So who's going at the end of Wamelco Way?
From my recollection, it's a company called High Five, and so it does have a local connection. So,
is that the Perrier 5-star?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my understanding of who went there.
No, and he's also got a cannabis delivery out of the old, we're out, down at Route 5.
Yeah, I would say he's pursuing it. I don't think he has it yet. He's working. I mean, he has his special permit, but there's like all the hoops that you have to go through. I'm sure they just keep popping up new hoops along the way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Greg, I think it's really helpful to have you here. We might ask you to come every now and then just to touch base.
Sure, I don't mind at all. Whatever I can help with.
You don't want to come every month, but maybe every 3 months or so. It might be good to invite you just to see what's going on. But
sure.
So before he leaves, anybody, is there anything else? Anything that we need to ask either Jeff or Greg.
Well, we never really finished addressing the need for restrooms. We had that complaint from the resident on Coleman Road about people urinating at the edge of his property. And we talked about putting porta potties in there, but we didn't do that. I don't know what the city how they would feel about that. Really, for people using our trail, the only options are the one at Millside Park, which isn't open very much, and the city public safety building. So at some point, we, I think, need to address the lack of restrooms on the trail.
In which the public safety building really isn't an option for a lot of people. Would be very intimidated. You have to go into the, the cops have to let you in. It's like not a thing that a lot of people.
Is Millside Park, are those restrooms still closed? Anybody know? I don't know.
They're closed every time I try to use them.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be nice if because we do have them listed on our website as a, place to use the restroom, but we have no way of knowing when they're open or when they're closed. I don't know who is in charge of those.
That's the park department.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to pick things to focus on that, you want to try to work on that, you might want to put that one at the very bottom of the list. I've only heard, random discussions. We've heard the complaints about 50 Payson Avenue and people on Cottage Street wanting public restrooms and having access. And the amount of issues it presents in terms of funding and maintenance and responsibility, it just goes through the roof. I think it's a tough nut to crack. Given what we started off our discussion on is just the basic maintenance features of the trail, I think, those are going to be hard, and those are just like prominent. So I don't know. It's a fine line. That's a tricky one.
Okay.
Well, I think what you don't want to do is get people to frequent the restaurants along the trail, and then they can use the restrooms in the restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, by no fault of anyone, like just getting trash cans emptied is a big deal, and to have the people to do that frequently enough so that that they don't overflow, like that by itself is a pretty difficult task to figure out in terms of funding and having people. I think adding restrooms other than Millside Park, I think if they can't even open the ones at Millside Park right now, for whatever reason, I think we might want to put that on like the 2026 list.
Yeah. Oh, so, speaking of trash, we do hire Riverside to empty the trash cans, and they have gone up on their price this year. So it's like at least $250 a month for them to empty the trash. And I think they still just bring it down and put it in the 50 Payson Avenue dumpsters. I mean, and I think they do it once a week, if that. So, but we just don't really have another option for trash pickup right now, because I sure am not going to do it.
It all comes right back to that, the resources and having personnel there to do it. I mean, our guys doing it on overtime's costly also. So it's.
Yeah. Do your guys empty it on the boardwalk now?
Yes.
Okay, so you took it over. See, for a while there, they thought all you were going to do them all.
Yeah.
And the ones on the bike path were totally overflowing, and I couldn't understand why.
Yeah,
So we clarified that we still want them to do our trash cans and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thanks, Greg, and thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll start putting the list together, and it's good to know there's some other people thinking about it just besides us sitting here talking about it.
I think it's great. Now's the time. I think now's the time to keep talking about it. It's just, the mayor does talk about, budgets going forward are still really dicey, and, we're still in recovery mode. So I think you will hear that. I think I think to get it in chunks or at least get a vision going, I think now's the right time to do that. But I think it's still kind of tenuous when you talk about budgets going forward. And the mayor still talks about how, we're not out of the woods yet kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. But I think it's a good time to be talking about it.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you coming, both of you.
Oh yeah, no problem. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
So I sent everybody the update, just a little email from Sarah, the tree warden, about that. There's nothing really new to report as far as the tree removal down at Route 5, except they did agree to keep a couple of the trees that we had talked about. So that's good.
Can I interrupt just for a moment, Barb?
Yep.
One thing that struck me, I thought about it later. So they compromised and they saved a couple of trees, and that was great. But I didn't really think to say it at the time, but one of them that they saved was one of those ashes. And I believe that we had said that they were, or the city had said, the tree warden, that they wanted to get rid of all the ashes. They were glad to get rid of them. So why did we agree to keep that one?
I thought they were 2 cherry trees. Did they say?
There were 2 cherry trees and an ash.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't,
I have to look at that.
yeah. Take a look at it and see. I think it might even be in the minutes.
Oh, what do you think of, well, John, you weren't at the last meeting, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know afterwards, remember she said, and I forget her name. I'm terrible
Sarah.
with names. You say again? Kara?
Sarah.
All right. One more time.
Sarah.
Oh,
Greenleaf.
Sarah. Okay. All right.
Greenleaf. Think of that name. Isn't that wonderful for a tree warden?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I know at some point she said, this is actually a win-win situation because the city wants to get rid of the ashes anyways because they're invasive and they ruin the pavement. And then on the list, we saved one of the ashes. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I guess we just will have to look at that again.
Okay.
Because maybe that one should come down too.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying? Yeah.
There's also there's a small tree over by Tandem Bagels, like right in that sort of little park type area, that right by the a little library that's really low hanging. That needs to be cut. I mean, like, there's some things that are low hanging and you can get under it with a bike if you just duck, but this, like, you have to go around.
Yeah, that's Williston's. Maybe I can write to Gina. Maybe she can. We can talk to Williston to see if they can get in there and trim that up because that's Williston. They own
it
that.
shouldn't take very long, but it's just it's a hazard.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. It's like a willowy kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even walking under it for someone like me, I mean, I have to like duck.
Yep. Okay. I mean, we could go out there and do that, but we probably should ask them, or John could probably go out there and trim that. But it's better. I think it's better to get the okay from them before we go chopping their trees.
Yeah, just let me know if you want me to do it. I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me check with. Peter, who's the maintenance guy down there?
Where?
At Williston.
Now.
Oh, I don't know the new guy.
Oh, I'll just write to Gina and she can pass it along.
Yeah, I haven't met him yet.
Yeah.
If you got a name, it'd be nice to know, but
I mean, I know it, but I know, and I think I've been told it, but I can't remember who it is. Yeah, I can't remember. Anything else? Oh, Liz, what's going on with the bike week thing? You're muted, Liz.
Sorry. I've been back and forth with Jeff McCullough, and they've decided to observe the Bay State Bike Week is observing the whole month, Bay State Bike Month.
Oh.
But Jeff McCullough tells me that We're observing Bike Week as September 18th to 26th. So if we want to plan an event, the weekend on either end of that week would be the time to do it. So we had planned an event for last May before everything stopped. We were going to do a breakfast like we've done in the past. So I don't know if we want to revive that or if we have another idea. And if we want to revive it, which day?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be really, even the last few years we've done it, it doesn't seem like it really drew that many people. I don't know why. So I don't know. What do others think about it?
Well, also not to be overly cautious, but with COVID, I don't know. I'm trying to still limit my contacts as much as possible. So, not that
I mean, there's nothing that says we have.
Nope, she's stuck.
They're frozen.
I mean, we could think about putting up like a poster or something just to announce it and encouraging people to sort of support their local bike trails or something like that, just to acknowledge it rather than to have an event.
Well, we can still put up the PV, whatever that organization is, Pioneer Valley Planning. Yeah, we can put up their posters. But Liz, by the way, you broke up when you were speaking before. Whatever you said, we missed.
Which part?
We don't know because it was totally
garbled.
The dates are the 18th to the 26th of September.
Okay. Yep.
So if we were to do a breakfast, it would need to be one of those 2 weekends. So if we don't want to do an event, that's fine. I can still ask to be provided with the posters. For VPC. And
Liz, you're scary looking right now.
You look astonished.
He's probably losing battery power.
Yeah.
Zoom shock.
Or if you've got an old router or modem.
Time to.
Yeah, I don't have a connection.
Yeah.
Are you using satellite? HughesNet?
Pedal faster.
I wouldn't be averse.
No, well, I guess that's our answer. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm hard trouble hearing you all.
She must have dial-up.
Yep.
We can't get it, Liz. We can't hear you.
If you have anything, you can email the group and I'll send it out.
I think it would help if she dropped video.
Join on my laptop. Working so
Yeah, Liz, it's hopeless.
Yeah, you're
We're
breaking
just
up. We
hearing
can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
Oh, well. All right. Well, we don't have a lot of time. I mean, I guess I'm just not really convinced that the breakfast is really worth,
I'm going to read your laptop. Maybe that'll work better.
I don't know. But
Anyway. I wouldn't mind if we skipped it. I've been thinking that maybe if we did something, we should do something more useful, like have a bike tune-up,
yeah,
pay somebody to do a bike tune-up or something, or just change it up. Maybe that would draw, or have a musician, busking and just hand out little trinkets or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think too, it would be something that would be good to promote so people actually know about it. Because I think, pretty much the only people that came to our other breakfast were people that just happened to be going by. They didn't know anything about it. So,
Right.
Maybe we could think about I think they're going to have one weekend of Mill Pond Live concerts.
They are?
So maybe we could do a table or something there, because I think, didn't they have a bike tune-up or something
They did.
for those in the past?
He had Sean Condon lined up to
Maybe we could give out
do-
bells.
the one a year ago.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you know when?
We've
do you
given
know when Mill
away all
Pond?
kinds of stuff.
I
When
think
is that
the weekend
concert?
before, I think it's the 11th, 10th and 11th or something like that. They were supposed to announce it at River Valley Market, had some kind of outdoor concert a week or so back, but there's nothing on the Mill Pond Live website about it. But I think that was the weekend they were talking about. But, obviously everything's subject to change with the Delta variant of the virus. So.
Yeah, and going back to something you said earlier, Barb, it makes sense that, how many people actually are going to go, oh, I'm going to go take a bike ride so I can get a free bagel.
Yeah,
I
know.
From us,
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this year, maybe let's give it a rest, and maybe next year we can try to come up with something
more creative.
a little bit more creative and really promote it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I hate to put too much planning into yet another event. And it's going to get canceled.
Yeah. So Peter, how are you doing? It's good to hear you were out on the trail. Have you been able to get out at much, or?
No, I just went out today because I felt I really needed to nail down this post.
Yeah, thanks for checking that out.
Yeah. I've been trying to get out and get as much exercise as I can because I'm starting chemo in another week again. So I'll probably be out of commission for a while.
Oh, well.
Well, we miss you.
We do miss you. I miss not being able to call you for things that happen on the trail.
Well, you know what I noticed when I went out today was right by Richard's Plumbing, where the path goes up through there to the park. To Millside, right by Richard's back parking lot across the way. It looks like a big maple branch came down. Somebody's probably already mentioned that. Somebody moved it to the side. It was a chunk of maple. It's probably about 15, 20 feet long, and maybe where it ripped off the tree, it was probably maybe 3 inches in diameter at that point. And they just dragged it over to the side of the trail against the medical building that's there.
Oh, John, do you want some wood?
I do pellets now.
Oh,
Wood's too much work.
well,
It is.
it's not in the mowing. It's up near the building closer.
No, it's right on the mowing side, mowing strip of the path. Yeah. So it needs to be cut up and removed from there.
Okay. It's maple. It's about how long? Because
It's probably about a good, 15, maybe almost 20-foot long branch.
Okay.
And you can see it got ripped off. I didn't look up to see where, but I could see it was all tore, at the end where it attached to the tree.
Yeah. Well, my former neighbor on Park Street, I know he burns wood, so I can send a note to his wife to see if he's interested in checking it out, maybe taking it away.
Okay. He's going to need to cut it at least in half, if not in thirds. So
yeah, he has all the proper equipment.
perfect.
Yep. All right. All right, did we want to pick our next meeting?
I know I wasn't around for the first part, but I see they patched they replaced the root area what are they gonna do with those trees? I missed the first part, so are they gonna pull them?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, crap.
I know, I've made it very clear that, we did this time, but we don't plan on keeping on doing it.
Okay, because I can see the roots right there that they cut and ripped up are
Yeah.
laying right there. They will reattach themselves.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. I think I actually asked Sarah if she could go down there and take a look at them and see what she thought about them, and I don't know if she did or not. I could ask her.
Well, that's too bad. Okay.
Do we want to meet again in August, or do we want to go into September? We're kind
It is
of-
August.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're kind of off schedule here. Do we want to try to get back on schedule, or do we want to meet in like mid-September or what do you think? I don't care.
Yeah, September.
Okay.
13th, maybe?
That looks like a good day. That's kind of right in the middle, and then we can get back to normal.
Yeah.
In October, we usually do the Friends meeting.
So did you say the 13th?
September 13th?
Yeah, it's a week after Labor Day.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to make it 7 o'clock so Barbara can finish her dinner before we?
No, well, I probably won't have to pick 2 quarts of blueberries next time, though.
We've been picking ours, Barb.
Yeah, you are?
Oh, yeah.
I heard Bird Haven is already closed.
Well, we're halfway done with ours.
Yeah, no, they're totally closed. They're
Wow.
done.
Oh, you mean they're not doing berries?
They're totally, well, I guess that their property must be very wet. And because of the water, they're already shut down for the season.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, we still have a lot left. Do you have peaches, Peter?
Yeah, actually, they're all gone. We picked them already. They were an earlier peach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And those things were rotting on the tree. It was so wet.
Ooh,
Yeah. So we had to pick them and then let them ripen a little further in the house. But then it didn't take long and it was like flash. They started to rot.
wow.
Too wet?
Yeah, mine look good so far. But, okay, so Monday, September 13th.
What time?
I like 6:30.
Okay.
And I guess for now, I mean, I don't think that boards and committees are meeting in person until you hear differently. So it's just remote still.
Will there be a reason why we couldn't continue to meet remotely?
I know it's handy, isn't it?
It's very handy.
Yeah, and Peter can come. Well, I don't know. I think once things start to get back to in person, they're probably going to encourage in-person meetings again. But I mean, it would be nice to see Annette. I don't know why she it's too bad she can't come to any of these meetings. But she says she doesn't do Zoom.
But she could call in on her phone.
I know. I don't know. She hasn't been to anything, and she usually goes to a lot of meetings.
Right.
But I mean, I would assume now with this whole Delta thing that we're probably going to, continue remote for longer than we might normally have, but we'll see. But so, and unless you hear differently, it'll still be remote. So,
Okay.
Barb, can you hear me?
yes.
Did you get my email? Can you send me Sarah Greenleaf's email address, please?
Oh, okay.
What do you think of it? Thank you.
Okay. Well, I sent an email today and she was part of the response.
Okay, but
I think it's askgreenleaf@easthamptonma.gov.
Okay.
But if you look, I just sent the email today. I forwarded it from her, so you can go right in there and see that.
I saw that. It doesn't show me her email address.
It doesn't? I mean,
Well-
like if you scroll down,
I'll
Well-
look again. I thought you might have it just there that you could just send it to me.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it would be S. Greenleaf at Easthampton, MA, but I'll double check.
Okay.
The other thing, before we close up, I did notice that around the shed, it's starting to look a little shaggy. Do we normally weed whack that or mow it? It's just kind of a mess.
Yeah, I normally do that, but I haven't been out yet. So I can do that sometime, brother. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know if we could ask Better Pathways to do that while they're mowing.
Well, it requires weed whacking. You can't mow in there because there's too many stumps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, thanks, everybody. I'll work on that list of stuff that we do and how much we've spent, and then I'm going to send it to everybody because I don't want to forget anything.
Yeah, because I'll probably have a lot to add.
Yep, well, I think if we can all just brainstorm and think of everything that we can think of and just put it in one place and then,
What's this for?
Talking about going forward with DPW park, I had a real good conversation with John Mason about talking about the position. And he really felt it would be a position of the bike path and other parks, that person, that would be their job. And he was all for it.
Right. But Peter, the point is, I think you missed this before. He wants a list of all the things that we do that we think the city may end up doing at some point or another. So actually your input will be very valuable as well, yours and John's in particular.
Yeah.
And the cost. And the cost. Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants to just send me just send an email with all that stuff and I'll put it together and then I'll send it back out.
I was encouraged that they seemed at least amenable to talk about it. Who knows what the mayor's going to do with it, but I think at least having the conversation is a start. And
right. I think, I truthfully think we're looking out further than like next fiscal year.
I agree.
But, having their input and their support of it, I think is really good. Greg has been wonderful. I asked him to do something and he's like, sure. And he's been really great.
Does it get done?
It does.
Wow.
It does.
Nice.
Oh, I did forget to ask him about that broken fence on the South Street.
Oh, okay.
Rich and we had looked at it and Rich thought maybe he could do it, but that hadn't gotten done yet. Yeah, that was tree damage. A tree came down on it.
Where is it?
It's South Street heading towards like Williston. It's like right when you get into the trees, there's that kind of open area behind the condos and then you go into the trees. It's right there. A big tree came across and smashed a section of the fence.
It's right near the mile marker. I think did I say 4? Was it mile marker 4?
Oh.
Yeah, mile marker 4 is up a ways, but yeah.
Speaking of that, weren't we talking about that there was a mile marker missing?
Yep.
Yes.
When they pulled the fence, they pulled our mile marker because that particular spot, when I measured it off, ended up right at a post. So I just, put some extra blocks on and then mounted it to both sides of the post. Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't on its own separate post there.
Oh, okay.
So did we order a new one or?
Yeah, we had that made out of the same stuff as the trail sign though, right?
Right. So, but that was done local. I thought it was one of the local companies.
Yeah, that sign graphics or whatever. I think for signs, that company that Greg was talking about, that Porcupine Signs, I think that's, I wrote to the guy and he was like, sure. I think he would make up whatever we need, but I'm just not sure if he has that kind of material.
The material is called color core.
Yeah.
Meaning the core of the material is one color, the outside is the other. When they route through,
right,
the inner side shows nicely. It comes through as white if that's the center with the green sign. It's really neat stuff. It's expensive, but it's really nice stuff for signs.
And it's lasted. I mean, those signs
It's all
lasted.
plastic.
Yep, so we would need to have a post, you'd need to put a post where that is.
Yeah, somebody had to dig a hole and bury a chunk of 4x4.
And do we necessarily need the same, I mean, this is really, just a replacement. I could see putting a metal sign or whatever instead of,
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask if he has access to that kind of material.
okay. All
I
right.
mean, it's just, how long have we had those trail signs up? They've been, what's it been, 20 years? I mean, do they even make this stuff anymore? I don't even know.
Color cord?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
they
they do.
do? Okay.
I would rather have it match, but
Okay.
that's just me.
All right. I should have known, Wendy.
Yeah, you can.
I could tell right away.
I have OCD written right across my forehead.
So speaking of mile markers, I mean, whatever came about, Liz and Steve, as far as mile markers on the
New Haven to Northampton.
right, whatever came of that? Anything?
I think that's, so that's the next thing, and Liz, if her microphone worked, can tell you better than me, but that's the next, or one of the things on the agenda for that, that group that's renaming the entire trail. So that'll be a group recommendation for,
Okay.
that everyone will agree to. We'll have common markers, and so we really are in a holding pattern individually because we really have to wait on them.
Okay. Okay, so we can just,
I think their thought is to start the mile markers at New Haven and work their way north. But of course, Northampton already put a 0 marker at Union Station, where the north-south and the east-west trails sort of meet. So I don't know how that's going to get ironed out.
all right, well, we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah.
In the
Steve,
meantime, we can just replace our 2-mile marker.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve, have you seen an announcement of another meeting? I haven't seen one come through.
No, I haven't seen one yet. Liz.
Okay. So I didn't.
Correction, that's 1 mile marker.
It's a 1-mile marker?
Yep.
The missing one.
Oh, and it had kilometers on it too, right?
Yeah, the 2 mile marker is down past Goslin Drive.
Oh, okay. All right, well, if this guy has that material, I guess we probably should go down and take a picture of it and size it and do all that.
Yeah, it's green with white core. Yeah, well, he'll take a picture, he'll see it, he'll know.
Also, I refilled the box today on Coleman Road. They're like hotcakes, those brochures, but
Oh, wow.
somebody was going to contact Northampton to see if they had more. I don't remember who said they would do that.
What's your email? jbushman at?
Well, I know when I go by Coleman, when we go to Big Y, it's back there.
At charter.com? Charter.
John, mute yourself.
John, can you mute?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Who was going to talk to Northampton?
He's going to send you something on the email. Pardon?
No, John, you can continue to talk, but we just wanted you to mute your microphone, so we.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay.
They don't like it, yeah.
So down at Route 5, we've got a new person keeping a track of the maps. Mark Sinkowitz, his wife Jackie works in the health department. He walks down there every single day practically. So I gave Jackie a pile of maps, and I told her to have him keep an eye on it and fill them up when he needs them. So
Do we
so
have
that
a
one
lot
at
left?
least- What?
Do we have a lot left?
I have like one box.
Oh,
That's not going to last long.
Not gonna last, no.
I put a dozen. Chris has been doing most of it. Probably every week, 10 days, we're putting a dozen out there. We're going to go through those.
That's the
You
box
want me-
I brought in.
Yeah, maybe I have 2 boxes because, yeah, I'm not sure, Peter. Yeah, I haven't really gone through many at all. So, of course, I haven't checked the one out by Union Street in ages. So,
But we want to be ahead of this. We don't want to wait till we run out and then.
Right. Wendy, you were in touch with the Northampton people about reprinting or updating the map. Were they planning to reprint or update?
So I was in communication with the guy that was doing the map layout. And so he worked for Wayne. He was on Wayne's staff, I believe, but we didn't discuss printing of the maps at all. So I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. I can email George, who's in charge of the Northampton Friends.
Okay.
Why don't I do that and see if they are getting low also, and see if they're just going to reprint what we already are using for now?
well, I wouldn't really, there's changes and business is gone and things like that. So,
Well, maybe this guy that did the changes for the new Northampton to New Haven section, if he could just lay that in he would need the original layout. So yeah, maybe George knows who did that or how to access that. So we don't have to start from scratch.
Right. Okay. I'll start with George.
Okay.
I mean,
But
I'd almost be like something simpler, something, I mean, even if, trying to get all the advertisers and all that, I don't know, it just seems like it was a lot of work and it was expensive and it just seems like, do we really need all that? I don't know.
No, maybe not, but we do need printed maps. And I'm sure if we're low, Northampton's probably low too. So I'll send George an email and see what their status is.
Yep.
I think we could do an 8.5 by 11. Just doesn't have to be glossy or anything, but just something that could have Northampton on one side and Easthampton on the other.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be, high end. I think just something functional.
Mm-hmm.
I know if I'm right, I like to have a paper map.
Yeah.
I just think it's easier.
I agree. People are looking for them and the bike shops want them, and I think we should provide that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll email George tonight.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else? Okay. My screen is flashing. I don't know why
Yeah, I
it does
see
that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
There's nothing going on in here, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's like
why.
somebody's taking your picture or something.
I know. I don't understand. There's not any TV or anything in here. I just don't get it. But
Must be
it's probably going to be like, okay, it's time to go. Time to go.
Flashing the lights.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right.
Well, anything comes up, let me know. But September 13th.
Yep. Got it.
6:30.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. See you then.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.